Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea and we talk all things cozy personal finance on this channel. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for all the wonderful personal finance money goodness. Today we are going to be talking about expense categories, and if you are new here, when I do my budget breakdowns, I always account an amount for expenses, which my expenses are spending, groceries, gas, fun, and other. Somebody else's expenses might look different. I know I've seen like dining out, like a specific just dining out category. I've seen like a specific coffee category. I've seen all the things. Also, if you have kids, like that might be a category for you, or a pet, that might be a category for you. But essentially my expenses are just an amount that I allocate for myself each pay period, and I am paid every other week to spend on that specific item. Let's get into it. So the first is spending, and I normally try to, for all of the categories, I normally try to stick to the same amount each time, unless there's something that's going on that requires maybe a little bit more or maybe a little bit less. But again, normally I try to stick to the same amount. So for spending, the amount that I've been going for and allocating each paycheck is $150. And spending for me means that this is money that I can go and grab myself a coffee with. I can grab myself takeout when I don't feel like cooking. If there's something that's been in my online cart for 500 years and I've been eyeing it and I just so happen to have some money left over for it, I can grab that. Those are the types of things that I use for spending money. Next up, we have our groceries expense. And groceries to me also includes any sort of toiletries. So if I'm out of paper towel, that's coming out of the groceries expense. So that I normally go for $130 per paycheck. So again, I am paid every other week, so that is twice per month normally. I do try to buy whatever I can in bulk so that it lasts me a while, but normally that's a number that I'm pretty comfortable with. And I will say that all these numbers I've come to after trial and error, and they have changed over time. So when I first started budgeting, there wasn't really a need for me to have so much allocated towards groceries because I was living at home. I would help here and there with groceries or whatever bills that I could, but it wasn't necessary for me to get a whole like grocery order basically. And now that things are raising in price because things are just wonderful now, I have had to allocate a little bit more to that category. So I always say budgeting is very flexible, and make sure to adjust it to whatever's going on in your life right now. They don't need to be the same every single time. That's not realistic, and they should be changing to meet your needs. That is groceries and toiletries. And next we move on to gas. So gas is just car gas for me. Gets me back and forth in my car. I do work remotely, so thankfully I'm not spending too much money here, but I do give myself the money to do about 2 fill-ups for my car. I do have a sedan, so it's pretty good on gas, and that means that I am allocating $65 for myself normally. Now, if there's a scenario where I know I'm going to be super busy and I know I'm going to be driving around a lot, I might allocate a little bit more there. It depends on what's going on. And then we have fun, and this I've kind of like made almost like my social category. As I mentioned, I work from home, and I've been very comfortable working from home, like a little too comfortable working from home. I'm really trying to get outside a little bit more, and whether this is like a happy hour or like a ticket to an event or something like that, that's kind of what this category is for. So basically whatever's fun and social, that's what this is for. And normally I am allocating $75 for this category. And lastly, we have other. And for me, other is really just kind of like a buffer in my bank account. It kind of just serves as like, hey, I'm here just in case kind of thing. Sometimes there are times where like with my groceries budget, I may go a little bit over. I'll just pluck from there. So that's what the buffer is for. And normally I allocate about $50 each pay period for that. Now I will say that I try not to spend all of the money that's allocated for any of these expenses each pay period. The goal is not to let's see how fast I can spend all the money or make sure that I spend every single dime. That's not the goal. However, I have been experiencing kind of like some negative feelings about spending the money too, and that's not the reason either. Like, I allocated the money for a reason, and I'm very much a person who does not like restriction. I don't do well with restriction, and that's why I do this, so that I have the flexibility to, you know, go to a fair or go to a market or go and grab myself a coffee or treat myself to a restaurant or something like that. You know, I also have to let go of the reins of being like, no, don't spend all this money. That's literally what it's there for. But the goal normally is not to spend all of it, but to feel comfortable in spending it because I made that decision with my best judgment and knowing my financial situation. And so whatever money that I do not spend from the expenses categories at the end of the pay period, I do end up sending either to a savings account, to a savings challenge, or as an extra credit card payment to whatever credit card that I am working on at that time. Those are my expense categories. Let me know if you have any expense categories lined up in your budgeting, or if you're thinking of any, if you're going to start budgeting. Let me know which ones those are, or if there's anything different that you would change with what I laid out today. If you did enjoy this content, make sure to check out my other social media at budgetwithchelsey on TikTok and Instagram, because I get more into the lifestyle content there and like make little silly posts and stuff there too. So make sure to follow me there. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will talk soon. Bye.